Let me break something to you. Attraction isn't about looks, status, or even charm. It's about strategy. Unfortunately, most men fail because they chase instead of creating an irresistible pull. You might think she's out of your league, or that she's already made it clear she's not interested. But here's the truth. Women don't always know what they want until you show them. Yes, even the one who's ignoring your texts or keeping you in the just friends zone can find herself drawn to you. But only if you know how to flip the script. This isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about understanding how attraction works on a deeper level. The problem is that most men don't understand women at all. They act needy, try too hard, or give up altogether. Newsflash: none of that works. Women are drawn to men who know their worth, not guys who beg for attention or try to prove they're good enough. And here's where it gets controversial. Attraction isn't about convincing her you're the best option. It's about making her realize she doesn't want to lose you. That shift doesn't happen when you're chasing her or catering to her every whim. It happens when you become the man she can't ignore. And yes, this applies even when she says she's not interested. In this guide, I'm going to show you how to attract any woman, even the ones who seem uninterested. This isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about positioning yourself as the man she can't stop thinking about. If you're ready to stop chasing and start attracting, let's get into it. Stop caring about her opinion. The quickest way to lose a woman's interest is by trying too hard to win her approval. Many men fall into this trap, thinking they need to say the right things, act a certain way, or avoid offending her. This screams insecurity. The truth is, the moment you start caring too much about what she thinks, you give her all the power. And when she holds all the power, attraction dies. Women are naturally drawn to men who seem unaffected, because confidence is irresistible. When you prioritize her opinion over your own, you send the message that you value her more than yourself. And that's not attractive, it's weak. Instead of worrying about what she thinks, focus on becoming the best version of yourself. This doesn't mean being rude or dismissive. It's about emotionally detaching from her approval. If she doesn't laugh at your joke, don't panic. Be comfortable enough in your own skin that her response, or lack of it, doesn't affect your mood. Imagine you're texting her and she suddenly stops replying. The average guy would double text, overthink, or ask if he did something wrong. Instead, you simply carry on with your day. If she replies later saying, "Sorry, I was busy," your response should be relaxed. "No worries. I figured you'd get back when you could." Then switch topics or end the conversation on your terms. This shows her you're not desperate for her attention, signaling that while you enjoy her company, you don't depend on it for your happiness. That subtle shift makes her wonder why you're so composed and self-assured. When you stop caring about her opinion, you become a man who's harder to impress. Women are drawn to that challenge. Focus on your own value. If you want to attract a woman, even one who seems uninterested, you need to shift the spotlight from her to yourself. Most men make the mistake of investing all their energy into impressing the woman instead of improving their own value. Here's the hard truth. A woman won't value you if you don't first value yourself. Focusing on your value means becoming the kind of man who is naturally attractive without even trying. This doesn't mean faking confidence or trying to look perfect. It's about developing yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally to the point where you stand out. When you prioritize yourself, you become the man who doesn't need to chase women. Too many men fixate on what she wants instead of asking themselves, "What do I bring to the table? Are you building a career or just getting by? Do you have hobbies and passions, or is your life dull without her? Are you working on your fitness, or do you just talk about getting in shape?" A high-value man focuses on growing every area of his life. When you level up, her interest comes naturally. Imagine you're interested in a woman who seems distant. Instead of texting her all day or trying to force plans, you start hitting the gym after work. You focus on eating better, dressing sharper, and becoming the best version of yourself. You even pick up a new skill, like learning a language or taking a photography class. A few weeks later, she notices your changes. Maybe you post a photo of your progress or casually mention your new hobby. Suddenly, she's intrigued. "You've been busy lately, huh? What's new?" She starts asking questions because you're no longer waiting around for her. When you focus on your value, you shift the dynamic. She begins to see you as someone worth investing her time in. You stop chasing her, and instead, she starts chasing your energy. Create mystery. Chasing a woman is the fastest way to push her away. Think about it. How do you feel when someone constantly hovers around you, desperate for your attention, suffocating, and even annoying? Women feel the same way when men chase them. The more you run after her, the more you signal that you don't have options, and that's a turn-off. Instead of chasing, focus on creating mystery. Women are naturally drawn to what they can't easily figure out. If you're always available, texting first, or eager to meet up, there's no challenge. She already knows where you stand, and the excitement fades. Creating mystery doesn't mean playing games or being dishonest. It's about holding back just enough to keep her intrigued. Don't overshare your every thought or move. If she asks about your day, don't give her a detailed breakdown of your schedule. Keep it simple but intriguing. "It's been an interesting day. I'll tell you about it sometime." That's it. Now she's curious and thinking about you. Another way to create mystery is to have a life that doesn't revolve around her. Dive into your hobbies, stay busy. When she sees you're not always available, she starts wondering, what's he doing? Who's he with? The beauty of mystery is that it leaves room for imagination. When you're not constantly explaining yourself or seeking her approval, she starts filling in the blanks. And usually, it's in your favor. Attraction isn't just about what's said or seen, it's about what's felt. When you stop chasing and create mystery, you trigger emotions she can't ignore. The power of walking away. One of the most powerful moves you can make in the game of attraction is being willing to walk away. This is where most men falter. They cling to a woman's attention out of fear, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, or fear of losing her. But here's the reality. When you're too invested or overly attached to the outcome of any situation with a woman, you give up all your power. Women can sense desperation, and it's never attractive. The strongest, most magnetic men understand that their value isn't tied to any one person's approval or attention. If a woman isn't showing you the respect, effort, or interest you deserve, you have to be comfortable enough with yourself to step back and let go. This doesn't mean playing games or being rude. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to waste your time on someone who doesn't see it. Walking away shows strength. It communicates that you're not dependent on her for your happiness and that you have the self-respect to move on, even if it's hard. Imagine a woman who isn't reciprocating your energy. Maybe she cancels plans last minute or doesn't prioritize spending time with you. The average guy might plead for her attention or try harder to win her over, but a man who knows his worth calmly steps back. When she cancels, he might respond, "I get it, life happens, but let me know when your schedule clears up." Then he moves on with his life. The energy shifts. Instead of chasing her, he leaves the ball in her court. What happens next is fascinating. When you walk away, it creates space for her to reevaluate. If she values you, she'll step up and meet you halfway. If she doesn't, you've just saved yourself from wasting more of your time and energy. Either way, you win. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't fear losing them. That confidence, that quiet self-assurance, is magnetic. When you're willing to walk away, you create a dynamic where she sees you as someone worth fighting for. You're no longer chasing validation, you're living in your power. Mastering emotional tension. Attraction isn't just about physical chemistry, it's about emotional tension. This invisible thread keeps a woman thinking about you even when you're not around. Yet, most men fail to create this tension because they stick to safe, surface-level interactions. They play it polite, predictable, and overly nice. While that might be comfortable, it's also forgettable. Women don't fall for men who play it safe. They fall for men who make them feel. Emotional tension is about creating a dynamic that's playful, intriguing, and sometimes a little unexpected. It's not about being rude or manipulative. It's about breaking the monotony and sparking genuine reactions. Maybe you tease her about a quirky habit she has, or you confidently disagree with one of her opinions. It's about mixing moments of friction with lightheartedness to keep her engaged. Too many men avoid risks in conversations because they fear awkwardness or rejection. But the truth is, if she feels nothing when she's with you, she'll move on. Building emotional tension also means pacing your interactions. Don't rush to fill every silence or resolve every moment of uncertainty. Let those pauses breathe. A small pause in conversation, for instance, can force her to reflect on what just happened or leave her wondering what you're thinking. That curiosity fuels attraction. Think about it. She won't just remember what you said. She'll remember how you made her feel. Attraction isn't about constant happiness or entertainment. It's about depth. By surprising her, challenging her, and even making her a little nervous in a playful way, you create layers of emotional engagement she can't ignore. She'll remember the laughs, the surprises, and the moments of tension that made her heart race. Emotional tension isn't something most men master, but when you do, you become unforgettable. The art of silence. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Silence is an underrated tool when it comes to attraction. Most men talk too much. They try to fill every gap in a conversation, explain themselves endlessly, or bombard her with messages when she's being quiet. This over-communication doesn't convey confidence. It conveys desperation. Women notice when a man is uncomfortable with silence, and it signals insecurity. Silence, on the other hand, speaks volumes. It shows composure, patience, and self-assurance. A man who can handle silence without scrambling to fill it radiates confidence. Women interpret this as strength because it suggests you're not forcing anything. You're letting things unfold naturally. For example, if she doesn't reply to a message right away, don't follow up immediately or ask if something's wrong. Let the silence work for you. When you don't react, she starts wondering what's on your mind. That curiosity can shift the dynamic. Silence is also powerful during disagreements or tense moments. Instead of rushing to defend yourself or explain, pause. Let her words hang in the air for a moment. This forces her to reflect on what she just said and shows her that you're not easily rattled. Beyond words, silence can also create intimacy. A quiet moment where neither of you feels the need to speak can be just as meaningful as a deep conversation. It's the kind of connection that lingers in her memory. Mastering silence is about showing that you're comfortable in your own skin. When women notice this, it communicates a quiet confidence that's hard to ignore. Show, don't tell, your confidence. Confidence is one of the most attractive traits you can have, but here's the mistake most men make. They try to tell people they're confident instead of showing it. There's a massive difference between bragging about how great you are and embodying a presence that naturally draws people in. Women don't care about your self-proclaimed confidence. They care about how they feel when they're around you. Think about the men who truly exude confidence. They don't need to boast or seek constant validation. They stand tall, speak clearly, and move with purpose. Their energy fills the room without them saying a word. That's the kind of confidence that's magnetic. And the truth is, confidence isn't something you can fake. It's not loud or overbearing. It's quiet, grounded, and comes from within. Real confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It's about being comfortable in your skin, flaws and all. It's knowing your worth without needing anyone else to validate it. Unfortunately, many men confuse arrogance with confidence. Arrogance is loud and obnoxious. It's a mask for insecurity. True confidence, on the other hand, is steady and self-assured. It doesn't need to scream for attention. Confidence is also about energy. It's in the way you listen, the way you carry yourself, and the way you interact with others. When you show confidence instead of trying to convince others of it, you become magnetic. Women are naturally drawn to men who embody this quiet strength. So stop trying to prove your confidence. Just be confident. Let your actions, energy, and presence do the talking. Let her come to you. One of the greatest lessons in attraction is learning the art of patience. Too often, men rush the process, trying to force a connection or push things forward before they've naturally developed. But here's the thing, when you're constantly chasing her, you rob her of the opportunity to pursue you. Women are far more intrigued and invested when they feel like they're the ones doing the chasing. This doesn't mean playing hard to get or ignoring her completely. It's about creating the space for her to feel drawn to you without pressure. When you focus on building your own value and living your life to the fullest, you naturally become someone who commands attention. Women are attracted to men who are confident, self-assured, and moving forward with purpose. By stepping back and letting her come to you, you shift the dynamic. She begins to wonder about you, what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not constantly checking in. That curiosity pulls her closer, and before you know it, she's the one reaching out to you. Letting her come to you doesn't mean you never take initiative. It's about being intentional in your actions and avoiding over-investing in someone who hasn't shown the same level of interest. For example, if she's distant or non-committal about plans, you don't keep pushing for her attention. Instead, you step back and let her realize what she's missing. When she does reach out, she's doing so because she genuinely wants to, not because she feels obligated. This creates a stronger, more authentic connection. The truth is, attraction grows in the space between interactions. If you're always present and overly available, you remove the element of mystery and anticipation. But when you let her come to you, you create an environment where she can't help but think about you. That's how you build a dynamic where she values your time and energy, and her interest becomes genuine and long-lasting. Set boundaries that command. Respect. Respect is the foundation of attraction. Without it, no level of charm, good looks, or effort will make a lasting impression. Yet, so many men fail to set boundaries, sacrificing their own needs and values in an attempt to win a woman's favor. This approach backfires every time. Women don't respect men who don't respect themselves. And without respect, there can be no real attraction. Setting boundaries is about knowing your worth and refusing to compromise it. It's not about being rigid or controlling. It's about having a clear sense of what you will and won't tolerate in your life. If you allow a woman to walk all over you, cancel plans without explanation, or treat you as an afterthought, you're sending the message that your time and energy aren't valuable, and that's not attractive. Imagine this scenario. You're interested in a woman who frequently cancels plans at the last minute. The average guy might let it slide, hoping she'll eventually take him seriously. But a man with boundaries calmly communicates his expectations. He might say, "I get that things come up, but if you're not sure you can commit, let's not make plans until you are." This isn't about being confrontational. It's about standing up for yourself in a calm, confident manner. When you set boundaries, you create a dynamic where she knows she can't take you for granted. You show her that you value yourself enough to walk away if necessary. Ironically, the willingness to walk away often makes you more attractive because it signals strength and independence. Women are naturally drawn to men who have the confidence to stand by their values, even if it means risking the relationship. Boundaries aren't just about saying no to her, they're about saying yes to yourself. They show that you're not desperate for her approval and that you have a life of your own. Whether it's about your time, your energy, or your personal standards, boundaries communicate that you're a man who knows what he wants and refuses to settle for less. And that's something women can't ignore. Stop trying to be perfect. One of the most common mistakes men make is trying to be the perfect guy. They bend over backward to say the right things, do the right things, and present themselves as flawless. But here's the reality. Perfection isn't just impossible, it's unattractive. Women aren't looking for a perfect partner. They're looking for a real, authentic connection. When you try to be perfect, you're not being genuine. You're putting on a facade that's exhausting to maintain and easy to see through. Women can sense when you're trying too hard, and it doesn't make you look confident. It makes you look insecure. The truth is, nobody is perfect, and that's okay. What women find attractive isn't your ability to check every box on some imaginary list. It's your ability to be comfortable in your own skin. Authenticity is far more appealing than perfection. When you're honest about who you are, your strengths, your flaws, your quirks, you create a connection that feels real and grounded. Think about the people you're drawn to in your own life. Or are they the ones who are relatable, genuine, and unapologetically themselves? Being authentic doesn't mean you stop striving for growth or self-improvement. It means you embrace where you are on your journey while working toward becoming the best version of yourself. It's about showing up as you are, not as who you think she wants you to be. When you let go of the need to be perfect, you free yourself to build connections that are deeper, more meaningful, and far more attractive. Take control of your story. Attraction isn't about tricks, games, or trying to manipulate someone into liking you. It's about becoming the kind of man who naturally draws people in. When you stop chasing and start focusing on your own growth, everything changes. You're no longer trying to convince someone to choose you. You're choosing yourself. That shift in mindset is what separates men who struggle in relationships from those who thrive. The key is to take control of your story. Stop letting external validation dictate your worth. Start building a life that makes you proud, a life that excites and inspires you. When you prioritize your own growth and happiness, you become magnetic. Women are drawn to men who are confident, self-assured, and living life on their terms. Remember, you don't need to chase anyone. When you embody the qualities of a high-value man, confidence, authenticity, strength, and self-respect, women will naturally gravitate toward you. Attraction isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about showing up as the best version of yourself and letting the right people find their way to you. So, take a step back from chasing and start investing in yourself. Build a life that you love. Set boundaries that protect your energy, and trust that the right connections will come to you. When you stop trying to prove your worth and start living it, you'll find that everything falls into place. You're not just the kind of man women want. You're the kind of man they can't help but respect, admire, and desire. And that's the ultimate prize. Final thoughts. As we reflect on the journey of attraction, it becomes clear that true connection stems from understanding ourselves first. The lessons learned, patience, boundaries, authenticity, and self-control, are not just strategies, but essential building blocks of a fulfilling life. Embrace the idea that you are enough. When you cultivate your own happiness, prioritize your values, and allow space for genuine interactions, you invite meaningful relationships into your life. Remember, it's not about the chase. It's about the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. Trust that the right connections will come, and in doing so, you will naturally attract those who appreciate you for who you are. So, take a moment to reflect on your own story. What does it say about you? How can you shape it moving forward? In the end, it's about living authentically, with integrity and purpose, and that, above all, is the ultimate prize. Take a step back from chasing and start investing in yourself. Build a life that you love, set boundaries that protect your energy, and trust that the right connections will come to you. When you stop trying to prove your worth and start living it, you'll find that everything falls into place. You're not just the kind of man women want. You're the kind of man they can't help but respect, admire, and desire. And that's the ultimate prize.